and gentlemen, namaste and a very warm welcome to all of you to the Blub World Web Talk 191st episode. In the last 190 episodes, we have talked to, interacted with more than 3,000 school leaders on this very platform where they have shared their ideas, opinions and innovations that they are doing in the space of education. तो नमस्कार, आप सभी का स्वागत है ब्लब वर्ल्ड वेब टॉक के 191वें एपिसोड में। इसके पहले 190 एपिसोड में हमने करीबन 3,000 से ज्यादा स्कूल लीडर से बातचीत करी और उनसे जानने की कोशिश करी कि वो शिक्षा में क्या नया कर रहे हैं और शिक्षा उनके साथ क्या नया कर रही है। बिकॉज पोस्ट कोविड देयर आर अ लॉट ऑफ चेंजेस दैट कुड नॉट बी डाइजेस्टेड टिल नाउ। बहुत जबरदस्त इनडाइजेशन अभी तक बाकी है, जो अभी भी धीरे धीरे एवोल्यूट भी कर रहा है, चेंज भी हो रहा है और कहीं कहीं इंटरेस्टिंग है, कहीं कहीं वो ड्रामेटिक है। So let's try to know from all the school leaders today कि उनके लिए एजुकेशन कैसे बदली है, एंड स्पेसिफिकली इन द पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ कैरियर एक्सप्लोरेशन। कि जब स्टूडेंट्स 12th क्लास में आते हैं या 10th 11th के आसपास उन्हें मतलब टिपिकली जिंदगी की चिंता उन्हें सताने लग जाती है, देन हाउ डू स्कूल लीडर्स गाइड देम? हु आर द पीपल दैट दे ट्राई टू लुक आउट फॉर एट दैट मोमेंट? और ऐसे कौन कौन लोग होते हैं जो कि उस समय पर बात करने के लिए सही हो सकते हैं, या कौन सी ऐसी टेक्निक्स है जो स्कूल लीडर्स अपने अपने स्कूल में इस्तेमाल करते हैं? So we'll try to know from the speakers today that what do they think are the best ideas, the best people, the best strategies for career exploration. Before we start the talk, just some small little ground rules. First, Blub World Web Talk is a timed platform. So once your speaking time is over, you might get muted. If you get muted, please don't get offended. It's just to keep the activity interesting and crisp for all the readers, listeners, and everyone. Secondly, it's a bilingual platform. So you can use English or Hindi, any of these two languages. Please don't use a third one. But if you wish, you can, but I won't get it. And third, and the most important thing, when your last 30 seconds of speech time are remaining, you'll see a raised hand on the the window of Blub World, and you'll see my face with the hand up. So once you see these two things, just realize that you have the final 30 seconds to conclude. So I hope you enjoy the next 60 minutes with us and we churn out some amazing ideas that teens, that teachers, school leaders, everyone wants to listen to. Thank you so much everyone for joining us. You'll have your unmuting rights once it's your chance to speak. So once again, a very warm welcome. Let me invite the first speaker for today to initiate the roundtable. He's somebody who does simply this day in and day out, trying to give students more and more strategies and innovative things to explore different careers. A very warm welcome to Mr. Sudhir K, the head career counselor from the Directorate of Admissions and Academic Outreach for Amrita, Vishwa, Vidyapeethm, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. So Sudhir ji, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the warm and strict introduction which you gave. So I think I will obey to the rules and regulations which are kept forward. So don't worry about it. And coming back to today's topic. So it's a very much niche topic and very much required option which every school should adopt, every educational institute which should adapt this, because career exploration in teens is pretty much essential. Wherever I go, I used to tell to students, तभी तुम लोग कुछ परचेस कर रहे हैं, स्मार्टफोन और ड्रेस, तुम लोग इतना रिसर्च करते हैं, लाइक ब्रांड क्या है, उसका फीचर्स क्या है, ऐसे people used to do small research, get reviews and all. Likewise, which a smartphone or a dress which you are going to wear for 2 years or maximum use the smartphone for 5 years, you will do at least 1 or 2 days of research. Career is for life. How much exploration is required? You should understand first what is available, what kind of options are available, how you need to get information from them. Lot of schools conduct programs today in their schools, but they do career exploration or this career guidance sessions as a one-time thing in their school. Students can't get our information in one session. It should be a continuous activity. As a school leaders, I just want to know what kind of methodology you are using to help your students understand about all the career options that are available. For example, our 12th class students will have actually 600 plus career options. How many of the students today know at least 10 about them? I used to say to the students, it's not about what branch you choose now, it's about where you end. First, think about what is your destination, what is your end goal, then plan it backwards. So that should be the way forward. It's not like just I will pursue a course, let's see where it will take me, what job I will do. So, and they require a lot of exposure, awareness. They require what skills are required. You see, for a particular career like a JE or NEET, there is a different effort is required. As a teacher, as an educator, are you helping the students to understand the effort required for each and every career? It's not same. It's like for reaching a different destination, you can go by bicycle, you can go by car, you can go by scooter and all. We need to understand how much far is, based on that we'll prefer the vehicle. Likewise, our destination, our career ambition is hard, means what kind of approach they should take. Because as a teacher, as an educator, the first person the students today rely on, these teens rely on, is their teachers. They will be asking them what branch I need to choose, what course I need to choose. As a person in this role, how you are educating your parents, how you are giving knowledge to parents also, because parental pressure will also be there. How you are helping in that regard, they will come and ask you only as a teacher. So what kind of methodology and what kind of training or what kind of guidance you are giving to students in this regard, that's the whole session I think today is about. And you can share all your ideas how we can overcome this career exploration problem which is currently existing today. I can show you a successful person in each and every career domain, but lot of teachers does this mistake. Like they will be having their personal experience in mind and suggesting careers to students. Don't pursue a particular career. That career is not good, because that career, it's waste of time. Don't pursue that. Some people might be suggesting on their base personal experience. You should not do that as an educator. So likewise, there are guidelines to be followed by teachers also while giving career awareness and all. So combining all these things, it's a huge and niche topic which everybody should understand what's the importance of it. And you should be giving us insights also how it can be taken forward and all. And thank you for giving this opportunity. I'll be starting to learn more insights from all of you regarding this topic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sudhir. I think you gave the most apt start to the complete session. Let me try to summarize some of the important points so that we have a more meaningful discussion going ahead. So I think a very important point that you raised was that the essentiality of career exploration. Because when you're in the school ecosystem, you're talking about board examinations, you're talking about the next entrance examination, but do we really talk about the menu of careers? We don't have a career menu that, okay, this is something that's available. The challenge is we go by parental perception. And changing that parental perception is a completely different fight altogether. Second, I think a very important example that you gave, that the research for a product is so deep, but the research on career is so shallow. We only do it once and just as a career session. And I think it's done and dusted beyond that, which should not be done. Finally, educating parents about the new careers. The challenge is, are parents ready to listen to the child? Are they ready to listen to the principal? Are they ready to listen to the teacher? Are they ready to listen to a career counselor? So that identification, that is very critical, because at that point of time, what they really want is an expert rather than somebody who's trying to put in something else through that expert advice. So let's try to understand from the school leaders, what do they think are the challenges, and how can we or anybody across the ecosystem can help them overcome those, or have schools already found some solutions that could be emulated across institutions. So let me invite the next speaker for today, Mrs. Rupkatha Sarkar, the principal for La Martiniere for Girls from Kolkata, West Bengal. Rupkatha ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself, and a very warm welcome.
Thank you so much. It is a joy to come back again on this particular platform. And yes, career counseling has now taken a new dimension, and everyone is talking about how to go about, how to go about this important issue. Now, at the very onset, I would say that the educational institution, especially the school, has a big role to play in career counseling. And how is that? Yes, we should have a very robust career counseling cell in the school. But at the same time, for teenagers, they are going through different subjects in the school. So every subject teacher in that way is actually making indirectly an impact in the life of the child in choosing a career. Now, suppose I am a biology teacher. If I do not know what are the new careers that are coming up, how will I explain to the children if they ask me, ma'am, what is the use of studying biology? So can I tell them that there are exciting careers coming up? There is space biology. There is data informatics, which is also related to biology. There is biotechnology. There is microbiology. So many new areas are coming up, niche areas are coming up. And so as a subject teacher, the school should make sure that they are upskilled, they are aware, and they are able to guide the students. So a school should not only have a subject teacher, but a subject teacher who can also be a guide in the different areas in that particular subject to guide the child for a career. So a subject teacher can be also a career counselor in one sense. And the third thing that I want to say is create opportunities. The schools should create opportunities for students to develop in an all-round manner. If a child is good in sports, allow the child to play well. I have heard from Prapti Sen, who is the table tennis champion, national ranking champion. When she was in school, in her first school, the school said, no, we cannot give leave. We cannot allow the child to play. We don't have such concessions. So she left that school. And then she joined, her school from where she passed out, the Kendriya Vidyalaya. And there the principal said, of course, if you're a good player, why not? And today we have Prapti Sen, who is a national ranking player in table tennis. So if a student is good in a particular field, the school should encourage that child. It is not about marks. It is not about rote learning, but about bringing out the potential in a child so that in the days ahead, the child can choose his or her career in the right way. And then it comes to the next part, that what is my passion? What do I like to do? Today, you can change your hobby into a career. So if I'm good in paper cutting, I can even make that as my hobby. If I'm good in cooking, I can develop that as my career. So I think while we do career counseling, it's important that, we know what we like to do. So that's important. And parents should, yes, as you said, and before me, my panelist had said, please listen to the child. That's very important. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rupkatha ma'am. And I think a very important point that you made, that the teacher has to be upgraded or upskilled into a guide or a counselor, because that's the first line of defense. If you have the right answers at the right time, the students would get the right kind of guidance. You cannot force feed something at the end of the cycle. It has to come within the cycle. So when the education ecosystem is growing with the child, when his age is growing, when he's studying, those small little questions, the curiosity that he already has about a subject, that has to extrapolate into a career option. And that extrapolation has to be the responsibility of the teacher. Otherwise, the challenge is it's a disconnected activity. When career counseling gets disconnected from education and from life, because the student has not experienced the real life, and secondly, his subject teacher is stuck in the subject. So at the end of the day, we need to find a matchmaking that has to happen every single day in every classroom through every single teacher. They need to understand what's going on new in their field. Finally, you talked about creating more opportunities, and a very important point, the giving students the independence to pursue their passion. If the student is really good in something, you have to give them that kind of an opportunity. You cannot put them under a lot of bureaucracy and just push their passion down. Let's not do that. And finally, helping them identifying their own passion. Thank you so much, Rupkatha ma'am. Let me invite the next speaker for today, Mrs. Supriti Katkar, the principal for Redcliffe School from Thane, Maharashtra. Supriti ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself, and a very warm welcome.
So nice to be back into the same group again. The platform is good, doing very well. I follow you on YouTube. So, and when it comes to career counseling for the students, we need to understand we are creating human beings. And the most important part of being a human is to enjoy what you're doing. So if I'm enjoying what I'm doing, that should be my, career. That is the career that I must pursue. So I need to introduce students at the level of the school to understand what are the plethora of, careers available to them. Now, if we talk about those days are gone when we used to have very, very, limited career options available for us, but these children have a lot of them. And the best part, to get them introduced to these different kinds of careers which are there, is to get them to know about that career through the people who are actually into it. So we have a lot of sessions which are held in the school where we call people from different, groups of careers, and they are called in the school. They interact with the students. They tell them what exactly is going on. We were doing it earlier also, but during the post lockdown, we had to stop this part. And again, this year we will be having like children actually going to the police commissioner's office to understand what is the work that the person is doing. Actually visiting one of the MNCs to understand how the work culture is, what exactly are they doing, what are the things that they get to do over there. So there will be a lot of interaction amongst the students with the actual world, the real world. That is what, when they get confidence that, yes, this is what I need to do it. We also inculcate and imbibe in the children. The most important aspect is that the values should be very, very strong. Don't go after the money. Money will definitely follow you if you're following experiences. Another aspect that we have connected ourselves with the United Nations SDGs, children are getting involved into the bigger platform of the world where they come up with the plans, the goals which have been set over there. How do they can connect to the people around the world and then choose a career for them? And most importantly, what I feel is that there has to be extensive research done by the student with the parents and the school. They all need to come together, as my panelist before said it very correctly, that we need to have a holistic development taking place. Children should have an idea of what are the other careers available for them, and then decide that this is what I should be pursuing. This is what is the right path for me. And for that, yes, parent support is must. Parents should understand that this is what is my child's call, and they should be understanding the child's endeavor and let them do it. When we are planning about the career, it is not about right now what is going on in the market or what is going on in the world. It has to be a plan for at least next 10 years. So if parents, students, and teachers work together, of course, we'll be able to do it nicely. Thank you, everyone.
You said enjoyment being the epicenter of career choices. When you do career exploration, when you do career research, always try to find an activity which keeps you happy. Don't only look for the money in it, but also look that do you really want to do it every single day in and out? And if your answer is yes, then that's a career option that you want to choose. Real life professionals sharing their career experience. I think this essentially should become a part of every single school, that invite the parents to school, let them share their professional life with students, let them share how have they changed with their own careers, and what can children choose. Visiting workplaces, values should be strong, and extensive career research. We must teach research in some or the other way to students, that what are different models of research, how should you be doing it, how should you be isolating, interpreting, inferring that, okay, this is something that finally could solve my call for my career. Thank you so much, ma'am. Let me invite the next speaker for today, Mrs. Sandhya Venkatesh, the principal of Mount Litera Z School from Mormugao, Goa. Sandhya, ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself, and a very warm welcome.
I heard the previous 3 speakers, and they're apt in what they're saying. And it is always, see, what we are seeing today in the world is people who are doctors and engineers, they have changed their career. So we have to give this to the children, they have a big variety now. Gone are those days when we had the engineers, doctors, and now we have so many fields where the children can upgrade themselves, choose their careers, and make their life. Instead of forcing them, we as school, we as teachers have to tell them where they stand. And you're very true and right in saying that we have to invite parents who share their views about their profession. But ultimately, the choice has to be given to the children because they are the ones who are going to lead their life. But to make this choice as elders, we have to show them the path. We have to make those avenues open where they can training, where we can send them for internship to find out what works well with them. We should not focus only on those careers that are related with the parents. So I was speaking about the choice to be given to the students, the children. Only thing is we have to make that platform open for people so that children, so that they can choose their career. As a school, we do arrange a lot of career counseling. We arrange people from all the fields so that the children can choose. But ultimately, parents are very stubborn. Though we educate them, they are stubborn. They want their children to be engineers and doctors. They think the world will end if the child doesn't become engineer or doctor. So we have to educate them. And how we educate is everybody's own trick. Each school follows their own ways of educating them. But here what we do is we get people from various fields. We make them interact with the children, with the parents.
So I invite the next speaker for today, Mrs. Moushumi Das, the principal of SDSM School for Excellence from Jamshedpur, Jharkhand. Moushumi ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Good evening to all the speakers and everybody who's hearing me. So it's I just have to take it further. Speakers have already spoken. First thing is regarding career. As you said, that's very rightly said, the COVID has brought about changes, the pandemic. And you see, everything has become so global. The children have started learning over the mobile, through the mobile. So now there is a lot more to explore and make them understand in the right direction. First thing that we have done as teachers, and you will be glad to know, I am also a guidance and counselor. So what we did was we generated interest and made them aware that about the dignity of labor, that every career is important, what Sandhya ma'am was reiterating now. And for that, children have to have, we first told them career planning involves which path, thinking about which path, educational or occupational, which would provide the students with satisfaction and fulfilling all aspects of life. It is not the money that they're looking for, but peace and happiness, which is now research is going on, happiness quotient from IQ to EQ to EQ to SQ and then now to HQ. And some facts we have to give our children that 80% of the students leave the major subjects that they take and choose another career. And 60% of freshers are not aware about their career goals. So what we need to do is to select, we have to find what is VIP. Now, VIP is not what it means in normal, for us, but VIP is values, interest, and passion and personality. So when we have to choose a career which is practical, we have to enable our children to think. The more we tell them about the career, they may not be able to focus on what we say, but they have to understand their own aptitude. For this, it is SUAD principle. What is SUAD is self-understanding, self-accepting, and self-directing. Everybody is not the same. The way we say all 5 fingers of the same palm differ. And each one is important and unique in its own way. So children have to be made to realize this. And now whatever career fair we were having once a year, now we can have online so many times. So that enhances their understanding and allows them to explore. We cannot explore for them. We have to allow our children to explore their own career. Plus, to add on to what other speakers have said, it is the parents and the students counseling should go hand in hand together so that there is an intersection of work values, aptitude, and interest of students as well as the parents. Most of the time, as you very rightly said, parental pressure is there. Then major components of career development or career planning has to be made clear to the children through the teachers, through the classroom teachers, and as some speakers have said, talk. So when we make others talk, these people listen, our children listen, and then they analyze. But we can ask them to give a talk, choosing various careers of their choice. And it is not one career at a time. Let them explore, let them learn. And always, you give a fish to a child, you feed him for a day. But when you teach him to fish, for a lifetime. This is the reason why let children explore on their own. The major dimensions of career exploration or career planning has to be dealt with by the children. And most important is SKD. SKD is self-knowledge, self-discovery, and self-assessment. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I think you very nicely articulated some of the major points that have to be discussed. Dignity of labor that has to be taught to every single child, because this is a very big challenge right now. The continuous career curve that we see within the complete society, that's skewed. Some of the careers have a lot of people and they're not able to achieve, and then they have a lot of depression that they carry throughout their life. So people need to understand that everything is critical. You need to find the right space where you do get fit. Finding fulfillment in life should be the goal. Continuous online career fairs or career talks. This is something that essentially should be a part of school curriculum now, because the challenge is initially there were a limited variety of careers. Now the bouquet is so big that you can never explore everything, but you need to give them the opportunity to at least get exposed to these many options so that their choices get better. Thank you so much, ma'am. Let me invite the next speaker for today, Mrs. Mitali Mukherjee, the principal of Indrapuram Public Girls School from Patna, Bihar. Mitali, ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes and a very warm welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm overwhelmed to be back on this platform. I would like to say, just one thing which comes to my mind always, that when it comes to career, it's very true that children should be given the opportunity to explore, and they should have the knowledge also that what are the career prospects available. But then, what I feel, I'll just give you one small example and try to explain you. Suppose I want to become an actress, a Bollywood actress. Okay. Now, if I want to become a Bollywood actress, there are so many things I have to do. I have to reduce my weight. I have to do some plastic surgery, maybe. I have to go through a dance class. I have to learn music. I have to do this, that, so many things. But suppose I choose oratory as my career, then maybe I don't have to do 10 things. I just have to work on 1 or 2 aspects and I can become a great orator. This knowledge should be given to the students. This is very important. And actually what I'm talking about is multiple intelligences. What I strongly feel is that when the child is in school, the child's intelligence must be assessed. And as the NEP also says, that now the teachers are great counselors. They have to work as great counselors for the students. So instead of just telling them that what are the career opportunities available, we have to actually tell the children that what are you good at? God has gifted you with something already. And instead of exploring something new, in which you might be very good, you may not be good, you can explore something in which you're already very good. If this information is given to the child right from the early age, I think it's going to be great help for the child. Struggling to get into IITs or maybe into the medical for years and years and not being able to do it, or even if I'm able to become an IIT and I may not be a good engineer, I may not be a good doctor, but suppose I go into singing, which is my intelligence type, in which I'm already good at, then I could maybe make probably a much, much better career. So, we teachers, we are actually training the children, we are helping the children learn about unknown jobs. So a child who is in class 5, 6, 8, 9 now, maybe after 10, 15, 20 years, the child will be ready enough to pursue a career. So after 10 years or after 15 years, what's going to be the scenario? That's something very unpredictable, which I feel. So instead of elaborating and instead of just focusing on the probable career aspects, if we could focus on what the child is already good at, and if the child pursues something which is related to that goodness, which is within the child, then I think the children will be able to explore more. The child knows, like from childhood, suppose I know that I'm a very good orator, suppose it's like this, or I'm a very good singer, or I'm a very good dancer. So maybe, when I grow in my process, in my journey of growth, I will be aware that, see, if I do something good in singing, if I do something in dancing, I can make a great career. So I think this is very important to let the child know himself or herself. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I think you're very right in telling that rather than just going horizontally with the career options, let's go a little vertical, not into the options, but into the trajectory of those options. That what's the point A to point B to point C journey? That they understand, okay, these are the milestones, and this is what's going to happen to me if I select or choose a career. And finally, more than external exploration, it should be internal digging. Try to find out within the student that, okay, if he's already at point C, let's take him to D. Let's not make him start from an A when he's already seen something else. So let's start from where they already are, then going back in time or back in space to giving them an option that's super amazing for everyone, but not that good for that very student. Thank you so much, ma'am. Let me invite the next speaker for today, Ms. Mitali Roy, the principal of Aditya World School from Gwalior, Madhya Pradesh. Mitali, ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes and a very warm welcome.
Thank you so much, Mr. Daksh, and thank you. I'm really overwhelmed listening to our eminent speakers and panelists here. So when it comes to career exploration, this topic is very, very dear to me, coming from the psychology background. So I would say that career planning is not only something which starts from classes 9 to 12, or should be focused only that point of time. So career planning has two major aspects. One is knowing yourself and knowing the world of work. If we know ourselves, when we talk about knowing ourselves, that means knowing our interests, our aptitude, our personality, our value system, all of that, once the child knows or we know, then it is very easy when you talk about when Mr. Daksh was saying the suitability, the matching of the world of work and our own self. So that happens, the suitability of what kind of a person you are and what kind of a career that you would like to take on in your life. When it comes to career exploration in our school, we started from the initial stages of, say, class 6. From class 6 onwards, we give them in our school, we give them a lot of exposure to different laboratories like the design lab, the electronics, robotics, media, astronomy, communication, performing arts, fine arts, etc. So that every child has explores all these kind of labs and does some project work to be able to understand that, whether they would like to take it more further. So each of these labs that we have also have a step-up curriculum. So it is at the basic level, then we have the intermediate level, and then we have the advanced level. So when they take the projects also escalate accordingly. So in this case, the child, we are able to map the child's, aptitude, where the child has shown interest. So this gives us a kind of a complete profile of the child. What are the child's, the advantages or the kind of interest areas, and how. So, when we have to counsel the parents, it becomes much more easier if we have some kind of trajectory that how the child has evolved through the years. Secondly, I would say that, like subject teachers, yes, Rupkatha ma'am had already shared that, but subject teachers actually have a major role to play, because many a times students study a lot of subjects, but they don't know what they actually have to do in those subjects, or what kind of careers or avenues are open for them. So if subject teachers are tuned into this, and they talk about the kind of, the kind of careers that a child can opt for if they take these subjects, or if they go for these subjects as in their higher studies, then it becomes not only, it brings in a lot of interest in the subject, and also the child knows that, okay, there is something that I can look forward to. We also have like internships is something which has been a very dear thing to me, because I always feel that when we have to send our children for, abroad universities and all, the LORs have to have a very detailed statements. So that point of time, any industry or any internships that children take up has a marked, kind of positive thing in their the letter of recommendation. So, and I always feel parents have to be a part of our, they are one of the very important stakeholders of the school community. So when it comes to parents, they have to come and share their experiences, that what is it, how have they traveled so far, and somebody from the profession can speak much better, much more, and give them the minute details of what are the pros and cons of any profession, because every profession will have pros and cons. So I think career exploration is something that we need to start with at the initial stages. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mitali ma'am. So knowing yourself and the world of work, from introspection to finally going out to the world and trying to understand how do you fit in, identifying personality type and lab exploration to career counseling, that if you can create a virtual environment in some or the other way where they can experience the real world to a more precise manner, that will have much better effects on their career decisions. And finally, the subject teacher, I think Rupkatha very nicely said that the teacher has to be transformed into a career counselor. The teacher has to be upgraded continuously with what's latest in their own subject. So thank you so much, Mitali ma'am. Let me invite the next speaker for today, Mr. Sanjay Pandey, the principal of Ambuja Vidyapeeth from Baluda Bazar, Chhattisgarh. Sanjay ji, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
First of all, I compliment you for choosing this burning topic, career exploration for teens. Actually, this is a very good topic, and I think all the schools should be serious about the same. Though I remember that some of the schools, they do career counseling. But what happens, there are 2-3 factors, which is already spoken by some of my friends. One is the parental pressure, other is peer pressure as well. And the third is sometimes child feel that I have interest in this. And that's why I have interest, that's why I want to become doctor or engineer. I was very surprised to go through Mendel, which says that 93% of the Indian children, they know about only 7% career options. How surprising is that? I remember that first speaker, Mr. Sudhir, was talking about thousands of career options. So this is really sad. I think we need to work on that. And for that, it is very important. We should encourage the child, or we should strengthen the child to have the self-assessment. If child is not able to have the self-assessment, of course, the child is going to choose the wrong career. Self-assessment is not only based on the interest. There are certain other factors too, like aptitude, personality. Suppose I would like to elaborate here. Personality. Suppose a person is very shy, and if he has taken a job in sales, he will not be able to survive in the sales. Likewise, then comes ability, and then comes what I want to become. So these are the important factors. I think at school level, I think some of the previous speakers also spoke about the same. At school level, if we are able to enable the child to understand these things, I think the child will be choosing a correct career option. Many a times, children, they choose a wrong career option, which causes them frustration. And many of them even suicide also. So this is really sad. I would like to give some examples also. I think my friends or all of you might be knowing about Mr. K. He was an engineer. I met him a couple of times. So when I spoke, he told I was engineer. My physics teacher was teaching me momentum, impulse, and all those things. I never understood. Maybe I feel maybe from beginning itself he would have taught about the cricket. He would have done even wonderful than whatever he did. Even there are many other examples too, like Kumble, if we take even Aishwarya Rai, who is the famous heroine. She is also engineer. But if she would have done this drama course in the beginning, even she would have quite better. So what I feel, in short, that this is the very good age that at teen age itself, children should understand about the career options. And on the place of 9th, I would suggest and recommend that if you can do it from 8th standard, that will be far, far better. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sanjay ji. I think we all need to go a little back in time and try to understand how was career exploration being done when there were no universities, when the family business or the family vocation used to typically go ahead to the next generation, and it was a generational ecosystem for careers. So we now need to give teenagers the opportunity to work a little more, explore a little more. What you talked about, it's very critical: parental pressure, which they have to deal with, peer pressure, which they have to deal with, and finally a very critical factor, that they consider their small little interest to be their passion. And as a teenager, it's really difficult to differentiate between the two, that whether it's your interest or whether it's your passion. Identifying that is also very critical. So we need to now, when we look at career exploration, we have to look at a very hands-on approach. It cannot be a didactic approach anymore. It has to go a little deeper. Thank you so much, Sanjay ji. Let me invite the next speaker for today, Ms. Anita Paul, who was a former principal and right now is the Associate Vice President for School Programs IB at Career Launcher from New Delhi. Anita ji, you know both the spectrums when you come from the school ecosystem and now even when you're experiencing the coaching ecosystem. It's you are actually living that transition every day with students and parents. So what do you think that what's missing in the complete calculation? What should be added to the mix so we bake the right cake? So over to you for the next 3 minutes and a very warm welcome.
Thank you, Daksh. Thank you. And it's always a pleasure to be on your platform. And I can see the panel has already discussed a lot of very important points. So I will not take too much of time on those aspects. But definitely the thing that is missing and the acceptance that is missing amongst the education system is, a robust internship program, though Mitali did mention it, but she mentioned it as part of, because children have to go abroad and then you have to put it as, a credit for their LORs, which I think so. I do agree that is important, but I also agree to the fact that the children have their mind, their own minds these days. And, somewhere the parents have understood, and COVID actually came as a blessing for many to understand that the children were very smart now, and they could make up their own decisions. So saying that schools definitely play a very important role, and a school mentoring system, that is the seniors mentoring the their juniors or their peers, or even the if you have a mentoring program, there is a mentor who's a teacher. If she is empowered by a lot of aspects of career counseling, I think, and considering that she's a subject specialist or he's a subject specialist, it gives them, a platform to explore more and look for what are the different avenues that are available today, and give the children those exposures. Internship programs definitely should start from, when the child is around 14 to 15, which is the start of their, 9th and 10th, so that they start getting the feel of the real, work ethics. Their skills are enhanced. Their love for something will definitely flower out from there. And it becomes very easier for them to choose their careers then. And IB and Cambridge has always been very, very open about, selection of subjects. So the choice of subjects is a mixed bag. You don't have to be in a particular stream like in the national curriculum that you have to be in commerce, humanities, or arts. So there it's a mixed bag, and the child explores. So he can pick up any majors and any minors, and then later on explore. And it's not a kind of a closed compartment kind of a situation where the child is only studying a particular curriculum, so it's got stuck into choosing that particular area associated jobs. So I think so saying that, I do feel that, the teachers, if they are empowered at a very early age and they've given that platform, rather than just focusing on just one career counseling cell in the school, definitely that is important, because there is a lot of paperwork that happens when you're applying for your college apps, your early applications, etc. And even for now the Indian system, now that the CUET has come in, and I'm part of that, as you said, Daksh, that I am now on the other part of the spectrum. So I know that it is very difficult for the children. They are very confused, because now they have to get a ranking, and then they would get their college of choice, and maybe some of them will miss out on that. So I think so every year becomes like a challenge, a new challenge. And I think so with a lot of moral support from the parental body and the school body, I think so a merger of both the strengths can bring the child to bloom out into choosing the right path for themselves.
Thank you so much, Anita ji. So a robust internship program has to be a part of school education, not just for filling in those LORs. You now need to understand that this is for your life. Let's try to understand what UNESCO, all the Industrial Revolution reports, and everyone is saying, simply learning for life. You have to keep life while you're learning, and you have to keep it very close. The challenge with the education system, specifically with India, is we make the real life go far away and we teach them something absolutely different. So those silos have to be broken. You have to bring everything together. It has to go hand in hand. For the ease of administration, it cannot be removing the connection. The connection has to stay there. And most importantly, children have already become super smart. They know what you're going to teach them. So now what you really need to teach them is something that's not a part of the curriculum. You have to teach them wisdom. You have to teach them the actual meaning of the word knowledge, that knowing your ledge, where do you stand, how do you evaluate yourself, and finally take your next step. School mentoring system has to be robust. And I think the flexibility to choose subjects, because we have made, choosing subjects is like choosing the right ingredients to bake your cake. If you don't have chocolate powder, you won't be able to make a chocolate cake. So you need to give the students an opportunity to understand this, that how does the right mix actually come up. So I've listened to all the speakers for once. Let me invite once again Sudhir Ji for his closing thoughts, and then we'll go into the open floor. Sudhir Ji, over to you for the next 2 minutes for any closing thoughts that you might have.
Thank you, Daksh. I think I heard a lot from our panelists today. I think I am also learning a lot through this insights and all. So main thing I want to tell all the panelists that are present today, as an educator, we need to be aware of the new age career opportunities that are available. Why it is essential? Because, for example, my sister's kid, he didn't even enter kindergarten. Like he's just about to go to school, but he knows how to operate a smartphone. He knows how to go into a remote folder, open the movie, or play his desired YouTube video. So these students, once they come into schools, once they come into this +2 or +10, how much technological oriented knowledge they will be having. As a student, suppose if somebody asked me, what are the opportunities in AI? As a teacher, do you have an idea about it? So as a teacher, can you suggest these are the best artificial intelligence colleges, or these are the things that are happening in that career? So getting an understanding about the 21st century skills and 21st century jobs are pretty much essential of an educator today. So not only about the traditional career options, but getting the right blend of these things also as is essential, because students who knows more about this technology and asking more technology oriented questions to us might keep us in a bad way, like if we don't have more knowledge in that regard. So we need to adapt to this as quickly as possible. We need to get more information and insights about the new age careers also. I think as educators, we should adapt it. And I suggest one thing to all the educators: do not emphasize on marks. For students, don't teach them or don't make them go behind the marks. Conceptual knowledge is pretty much essential today. If they are having more conceptual knowledge, it's easy to crack any competitive exam. It's easy to get into any premier institutes today. So fundamentals or basics are very much important today, apart from this marks oriented learning. So that's it from my side. I think we can have all other insights and closing sentences also. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sudhir Ji. So now it's an open floor for all the school leaders. You can keep your cameras on. If there's something that you want to add to the discussion, if there's something that you missed out, you can open your audio and start speaking it out. The only request, just take care of each other. So anyone who wants to speak next, you can just unmute yourself.
So just to end what I was saying, that I think, no matter what career you choose, educational institutions should help the child to nurture certain very basic skills. And one of that is communication. And when I say communication, I mean reading and writing skills. If one is not able to read and assimilate and analyze, then any career we go, it will become a challenge. So reading skills and writing skills. Today, no matter which career you go, you will have to do presentations, you will have to write letters, emails, and certain research papers. So from the very beginning, no matter what career we choose, we must help the child to nurture communication skills. And the second thing I want to say is, there are so many institutions. How do you choose? What guidelines will you give a student? Which institution is the best fit for you? So for this, the child should learn to do a bit of research. It's not just the brand name. Sometimes, we go by Ivy League colleges, or we see how many stars are there and we go for that. And I have seen students very, very disappointed. So very important. We must teach our children to do research, even if it is a small college or a university which has a few number of students, a very small number of maybe, faculty. But maybe what the student is seeking is available in that. So I will give you one example. While choosing a law college, I said, oh, why don't you go to particular A institution? And the student told me, no, ma'am, I am looking for this particular field of law, and there are 2 Nobel laureates who are faculty members of this particular university. So I want to go there. So there is the research part. So it doesn't matter whatever is the brand of the institution. Go to an institution that is a fit for you. That's all. Thank you. Over to Anita.
Thank you. I just wanted to add, Daksh, because I've been hearing all these schools, and now that I am at a position where, children are, connecting with us for higher education, and we see the struggle there. And I realized that the counseling, when the counseling cell is particularly focusing on, aligning them with certain A courses and certain, colleges, they forget that, in school itself, if they have an individual learning plan or a strategy for each child, and that can be done, because when we do our report cards and when we write those, magnanimous, I'm sure your teachers must have written remarks that this child was very good, or this child was, being very naughty, or he was not concentrating on doing his studies. But if a learning plan is also created and taking into, as I said, there is a struggle still with parents having a certain viewpoint towards, career choices for the children. But if a learning plan is made and it's aligned through their years in school, and they are given a clear career goal, I don't think so there is any harm doing that. That's just an extra little bit that can be given to that child. Because today's child is not looking and seeking. He's got the computer there and he's got the network there to look for careers. But if he's given an in-depth view of that, I think so that is very important. And counselors also struggle, because at times they're just doing those, testings and assessments, and they forget that the child actually needs to know where the working skills are very important. And that's why I think so the new NEP, we've had a lot of discussions. I was in one of your panels for that also, I remember. And we said that the new education policy focuses on that skills have to be taken care of. So I think so that is where I forgot to add that when we are running around with careers and internships, we should actually focus on skills from very early on in school itself, and align it with certain goals to, achieve their career paths. That's about it. Thank you, Daksh.
Okay, so most of the people have already spoken up. So I think a very essential part of making career choices is first a lot of exploration, a lot of experimentation, giving them a lot of space. But the challenge with school curriculums and schools is that they cannot afford to give a lot of exploration. And secondly, they don't have that much of time that they can really give the students the space to experiment. But how do we find that out? This is the real challenge, that how do we find the right kind of time and atmosphere where exploration, experimentation would be nurtured. A year back, we thought, let's try to give teenagers some power to change the world. And we created an institution, which is the World Teen Parliament. For the last 6 months, 100 teenagers who got elected from all across the world are working on different issues to change the world. And they started a simple initiative, and we started that at the World Teen Parliament, and we would request all of your support into that. We said, rather than telling them what they need to do, let's start asking them that what teens want. So the World Teen Parliament this year is doing an activity. We are trying to assimilate the opinion of 1 million teenagers from across the world on different aspects of life. That what do they want from their government? What do they want from people? What do they want from parents, from universities, from schools, from their teachers? So that if you know what they want, then you can try to serve them what they really want. Because right now, even when we accept that they can tell us they know a lot of things, most of the education is didactic. So let's find more ways where we research into their opinions, their perceptions, and understand them better for delivering far more better education and far more better career opportunities. Thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of the Blub Web Talk. This was the 191st edition. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to attend the future sessions, please open your audio and say a big yes. And I hope to see you again at the Blub World Web Talk. Have an amazing evening ahead. Namaste.